Hi, I'm Rainer and welcome to my train room. Went to the model train show in Kitchener, Ontario yesterday. Picked up a few things. It was a very busy show, a lot of people there. Met at least 3 vendors I've talked to in the past. Had a chat with them, met a couple of other people that I've met over the past year since I started this YouTube channel. Met another subscriber, Bill, who I haven't talked to before. Had a little chat with him. So it's great to meet you guys and talk to you again. And anyway, this is what I ended up picking up at the show. So the first place I made a purchase from was Model Builder Supply. They're going out of business. They're shutting down, but they still had a booth there. So they had a really good prices on some of their foliage material. So I bought 5 more bags of this stuff because I really like using this stuff. It works well on the way I make the trees and the way I do my ground cover. So bought some more of that in various colors. In a recent video, I showed you the old German diesel locomotive that my dad bought me many years ago when he was visiting in Europe. And even though it's completely wrong for this layout, it's a locomotive I wanted to keep because he bought it for me. But I had nothing to pull with it. So I stopped by a booth that had a bunch of European HO stuff for sale and ended up picking up these 2 German passenger coaches. And I don't know if they're appropriate to be behind that locomotive or not in terms of era and color and name, but I really don't care. I bought them because the price was right, and I thought they just kind of look cool. I like the coloring on them. It's very interesting. They seem very well detailed with all this gold lettering on them. They have tables inside with lamps on them. There's people inside. So they seem quite well detailed. Anyway, so now I have something to pull behind that locomotive when I want to. Otherwise, it's going to be in the display cabinet with these 2 cars. So I'll show you some video of it running around the layout. Next purchase I made was really good price on more 52.5-foot gondolas. Some of these, I did a video a while ago where I repainted some of these and re-lettered them for Algoma Central Railway, and I have more lettering sets and I want more of them. They used a lot of these 52.5-foot gondolas for all kinds of use. So I do want to get a few more in my fleet. So I have these. There's some more on the shelf that I can paint and re-letter when I get a chance. So I've got some more. Next purchase I made was this. It was a price that I couldn't turn down. It is a Bachmann 3-truck Shay, and it was not in a box. The guy was selling a bunch of locomotives for a guy who was apparently 95 years old and was having to sell some of his stuff. And anyway, guy said it runs fine, so I took a chance on it, bought it, and you know what? It does run just fine. No problems. I don't know if the gears have been replaced because I know these Shays are known to have problems with cracked gears on these shafts down here. I don't know how to tell whether they've been replaced or not, but these gears are just fine. It runs just fine. Now, a little bit of a funny thing happened with me yesterday, gave me a little bit of a scare. When I came home from the show with this locomotive, I put it on the tracks, flipped that loop of track to DC instead of DCC because this doesn't have a decoder in it, and ran it around, and it ran just fine. So then I turned everything off. I went upstairs, grabbed something to eat, came back downstairs, took this off the tracks, pulled it down here, and decided to just lubricate the gears a little bit. And put it back on the tracks to see how it would run, flip the power on, and I had a dead short. And I thought, what did I do with the locomotive? How could I have shorted it out just by lubricating it? So I started looking at it and trying to figure out, and was really kind of perplexed as to what was happening. No matter what I did, I had a dead short. And then I turned around and realized that I had inadvertently set my glasses on the tracks down on the lower level, and that track was also switched DC. So there's nothing wrong with the locomotive. It was just that I had put my glasses on the track after I came down from eating and shorted everything out. My own stupidity, I didn't screw up the locomotive, didn't screw up anything at the end of it all, but had me panicking for a minute. Next purchase, just as I was leaving the show, picked up a couple of little mini metals cars, a little 54 Ford pickup and a 61 Impala. A couple more cars to put on the layout. I have a number of these cars already in a drawer here, so when I do the scenery, I have cars to put out here. And then the last purchase I made, and there's a story behind this. As I was walking out, I saw this Ukraine boxcar, and I haven't shared this on the channel before, but with everything that's happening in the world right now politically, I just have to say this. I bought this because I have an understanding of Ukraine that I think a lot of people might not have. I'm Canadian. I was born in Canada. My parents came here from Finland. But back in 2005, my wife and I and our 4 kids, we actually moved to Ukraine. I lived there for 3 years. I have a lot of friends there. I still own a house there. I know very well what's actually happening on the ground in Ukraine because I have friends who have fought in the Ukrainian military against the Russians. I have friends who are providing aid to Ukrainians in threatened areas. My daughter-in-law is Ukrainian. So my understanding of what's happening in Ukraine is not based on news, right-wing or left-wing news. It's based on what people I know on the ground over there are telling me about what's happening. And right now, Ukraine needs all of our help. So, especially to those of you who might be believing some of the rhetoric coming from some of the American leadership about Ukraine taking advantage of people, I just want to tell you that is the Russian propaganda that's speaking. I don't want to get political on this channel. I don't want to turn the comment section into anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is a model railroad channel, and that's what I want to keep it as. But I do have to say that as a Canadian who's seeing what's happening right now, and as a Canadian who's lived in Ukraine, there's some really disturbing stuff happening right now, and I just had to say that much. I'm not going to get into talking about what's happening between Canada and the US, because I don't think I'm the one to talk about that. But I will put a link up here to another Canadian YouTuber, not a model railroader. He's actually a guy who works on old radios. But somehow I ran across his channel, and for any of my American friends who want to see how Canadians are feeling right now and how many of us see the situation, and you want to hear the other side of the story, take a listen to his video. He's just a guy who calmly talks about what he's feeling, and many of us are feeling the same way. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'll have another video coming out soon. Like I said, I don't want to turn this into a whole big political thing. But I bought this because I have a connection to Ukraine that is more than a lot of people have. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.